Calling the breast community, the American Society of Breast Surgeons is gearing up for its 26th annual meeting, happening April 30th through May 4th, 2025.
In the dazzling city of Las Vegas, Nevada.
This is the premier event for the breast surgery community, bringing together more than 1,700 surgeons, thought leaders, and innovators from around the globe.
Don't miss your chance to connect, learn, and explore groundbreaking advancements in the treatment of breast disease.
Mark your calendars now. The American Society of Breast Surgeons 26th Annual Meeting, April 30th to May 4th, 2025.
And let's make it a year to remember. Visit www.breastsurgeons.org to register or to learn more. We hope to see you there.
Hey listeners, want us to let you know when new episodes are available? Simply hit the subscribe or follow button on the Next Breast Thing podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, join the conversation on our Facebook group by searching the Next Breast Thing podcast group on Facebook. On this episode of the Next Breast Thing,
I did just check an item off of my bucket list. I signed up for...
I went with her, and she knew all of the mobsters' kids and went to high school with them, is why it was so special.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a trauma at the hospital. I mean, that's literally what's going through my head as I'm falling.
Today's topic is, how has ASBrS made us great breast surgical oncology?
it's made learning fun again.
And I remember just thinking, wow, these surgeons are so nice and so helpful. And, you could just feel the warmth of the society.
I actually got engaged during the ASBrS meetings.
Tell me.
The society is a bigger thing than any of us individually. It makes us part of a bigger community, and life is about community.
The other thing my fellows use a lot, actually I use a lot as a program director, is the select.
But I think that is what makes a successful meeting, is not feeling alone.
My thing at the meeting is finding hidden bars or speakeasies.
I'm still figuring out what's the best way to do something. I'm still figuring out
How do I get on committees?
Funding being cut for different breast procedures. Reimbursement is something we want to be paying attention to. And again, the society has done a lot to advocate.
It's also what the society gives us on a daily basis, the patient education.
I love that we're doing this podcast. This is Carla.
Ellie.
Michael.
Susie.
Sitcha.
And Susan, welcome to the Next Breast Thing, a podcast by the American Society of Breast Surgeons for the entire breast community,
We're a group of devoted surgeons from different parts of the country.
inviting you to journey with us into the science of breast.
Through the heart and soul of our breast community.
From advances in procedures and patient care,
To personal transformation, we're here to support you.
So, if you're part of the breast community and can't seem to find the answers, this is the Next Breast Thing.
in today's episode, we'll be talking about how the ASBrS has made us great breast surgical oncologists. But before we get started, let's begin with some professional and personal updates. Ellie, what's up with you?
So I haven't gone to the real estate investing course yet, but I'll report back on that when I do. But I did just check an item off of my bucket list. I signed up for Coachella, the music festival, and I'm going to see Lady Gaga there, who's one of my absolute favorite artists. So I'm super, super excited to see her. And yeah, that's been a lifetime goal to see her perform.
So I went to go see her 2 years ago, and I thought I was like so cool. And then I realized I only knew about 2 of her songs. And I was like, well, she's a great performer. I guess I don't really know her music though. But she puts on a fabulous show.
Good. I'm excited. Susie, what about you?
Well, since the last time we spoke, I've hit 2 more ski areas, continuing to enjoy the winter months, except my driveway is a luge. And the other day I couldn't get into it. I had to shovel it. And then I wiped out and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be a trauma at the hospital. I mean, that's literally what's going through my head as I'm falling. I'm all bruised up on one side, but luckily I'm okay. Sitcha, tell me about you.
I recently registered for the annual meeting. I can't wait in Vegas. I'm so excited. I also renewed my membership. Sorry, I let it lapse.
There's a late fee.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really just exciting just being on the website and looking at the courses and everything for the meeting. So I'm super excited. I'm going to book my flight and be all set. How about you, Susan?
Well, speaking of the annual meeting, Carla, I have not forgotten that you promised to go to Old Vegas and hit the craps table with me. So I'm just planning out the time now.
Was I drinking a lot of wine when I said I'd do that?
It was on the podcast. I know. Carla, will you go to Old Vegas with me? I can't find anyone to go because the minimums are like $5. Yes, it's fun. That's
Okay.
So one of the best things about Old Vegas is the Mob Museum. So if you have not been there, you have to. Not that I'm trying to get people out of the meeting. We have to go and sit in that big room and listen to people talk all day long and all night long. But if you can get to the Mob Museum, it is unbelievable.
It was good, but I went with her and she knew all of the mobsters' kids and went to high school with them, is why it was so special.
It was.
I remember little Johnny Brasco. Yeah.
That's an East Coast thing.
It is. I grew up in Brooklyn, so it definitely is a Brooklyn thing. It just made it more special, but Michael, you do have to admit, it was super cool.
No, it was really neat. It's worth going.
The wall where St. Valentine's Day shooting happened, come on, it was so cool. It's history.
That was cool. It was cool.
This is an easy meeting for me compared to last year, so I'm set to have fun.
I'm excited to see this. I get so nervous around all of those things. And so, Carla, you're going to be the leader.
Carla, what about you?
That's actually a good transition into the update I was going to share. So my husband and I have officially moved out of our condo while our place gets renovated. So lots of joy and anticipation there. And so I will have some quiet weekends down at the lake where we'll be staying. And I'm going to be brushing up again on my craps skills. So Old Vegas is a great place to play craps because one of the keys with craps is you want to throw a decent amount of money down. And it's nice when there's $5 minimums because you can kind of get in at $30 and play with a lot of money. When you're putting $20 down for all of those things, you can lose $100 really quickly. So I'll be doing that on my off time when I'm not at the meeting, but I thought that was a good transition into this topic. So Michael, what about you?
Well, no baby cow yet, and I am binge watching YouTubes on how to play craps. Everybody says that's the best odds in Vegas.
Best odds, yeah.
Well, I'm all over these YouTube. I can't count that fast, though, so that's a problem.
It is the easiest game to play.
The dealers will help you through it. I mean,
It is.
obviously that's part of the key.
Nah,
Face it.
stupid.
It's not a game of skill. It's an easy game to play.
Well, we're going to see how this YouTube pays off. But until then, I don't know if y'all know this or not. I might have mentioned this, that I've never missed a meeting. And this society has really had an impact on me. Today's topic is how has ASBrS made us great breast surgical oncologists? And every great surgeon knows that growth doesn't stop after training. It's an ongoing journey. And in this episode, we're going to share how the American Society of Breast Surgeons has shaped our careers, expanded our knowledge, and connected us with a network of peers who challenge and inspire us. Now, Susan, you probably more than anybody, as past president of the society, you've been involved in this since you were like 13. Tell us a little bit about your ASBrS story.
I love this society. And it sounds dramatic, and I'm sure there'll be some dramatic music set to this as I say it.
Picturing that. Yep.
It's changed my life. It's not only changed my career, but it's changed my personal relationships. Michael, I would never have known you. You're in Tennessee. I mean, I'm lucky I can pick that out on a map.
State in the middle of the country. Is
it really the middle?
It's ish.
But it's changed my life in relationships and friendships that I have because of the society. It's made learning fun again. So that's what the society has done for me. And in turn, I feel as though I've given back to the society in a multitude of ways. It really is a bi-directional relationship that I have with a society, which sounds really strange to even say, but it really is. The society's done so much for me, and yet I feel like I've given back also.
When I just first went, I thought they'd been going on forever. I went to the very first meeting that was ever held.
I think that makes you old again. I think this should be the theme of every podcast that we have.
But it was an annual meeting. And there really wasn't much else to it. I mean, to be honest with you, we would go to the annual meeting, and that's where you'd get all of the networking, and that was fun. And you'd see your friends once a year, and you might take a course. And Susie, I kind of want to hear from you because this is going to be your first meeting. But yet it's weird because you've plugged into the society really outside of going into the meeting. So tell me a little bit about that aspect of it, because you're a full-fledged member of the ASBrS and never gone to an annual meeting. And that was our only real option when I was first starting out. So tell me a little bit about what your plug-ins have been.
Firstly, I wanted to go to the meeting, but there's always a family conflict of a birthday at the same time. And so that was always something I had to weigh. And we're at the hospital a lot. And then when you're at home and then making that sacrifice, it was just my choice. And so I'm super excited to go this year. By the way, no birthday. But I think there's a lot of things that you can get plugged in with, even if you're not at that annual meeting. Like the BSAP materials have been fabulous. The blogs and the questions that come across, and it makes you feel connected to other people. And you have a question of like, wow, how do I deal with this? And it goes out to a community where you have other intelligent people that may or may not have seen something similar that can help build you up or provide guidance for you, I think is super important. And I'm really excited. I looked at the agenda, and a lot of times I go to, to a meeting and I'm like, I don't know, I guess I'll go to this, I'll go this, maybe I'll get a massage during this session. And I don't know where I want to get a massage during this whole meeting. Like, this is a problem because all the sessions look really great, thoughtful, well planned out.
Ellie, you're kind of the youngest of the bunch. Did you ever plug in with the society even before you went out into practice? Did you do anything as a fellow?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So ASBrS was kind of like, as breast surgeon onc fellows, that was our society. That was our common thread. There are other surgical societies.
Unaware of those, yeah.
Unaware of those. But ASBrS was always like the home base. The online program, that's the first time I heard Susan talk. She was giving lectures. I remember going to ASBrS and in like the fellows breakfast, again, Susan was there. And I remember just thinking, wow, these surgeons are so nice and so helpful. And, you could just feel the warmth of the society versus maybe some other societies. I haven't necessarily felt that warmth. And as a fellow, it really felt like ASBrS was kind of trying to guide us through becoming, the best breast surgeon we could be and give us all the tools and the information. And so I definitely felt a loyalty to them. And even when I was in my first year in practice, I would go back to those fellows' lectures whenever I was questioning myself. And they really guided me through a lot of tricky questions where I'm like, oh, they've got a neoadjuvant. Do I need to do a dissection? Which trial was that? It was my home base for everything. And built relationships that I would have never had. Seeing people at the meetings every year, I'm seeing my friends. It's so much fun. I can't say enough good things about it. Sitra, what about you?
Susie mentioned something about your personal life and how you need to take time for your family and your personal life and birthdays. I just combine the two. So I don't know if any of you know this, but I actually got engaged during the ASBrS meetings.
Tell me it was in Vegas. We just got married, yeah.
Oh, in Vegas. We also went there for our honeymoon. I really like Vegas. My first meeting was while I was a fellow. It was amazing to be in that environment. I agree. Everyone's so welcoming and supportive, and it makes you just feel like you enter the right field. Everyone is like you. Everyone wants to learn and share and be collaborative, and it makes you feel like you're part of this society that gets you. When you're looking at fellowships and training and whatnot, you become really close friends with the people who are interviewing your year. 15 of us who we still communicate regularly and still go out to dinner every single year at the annual meeting. And so that's just one of the highlights for me. Other things from this society that have just been really important to me as a program director, everything they do for the fellows course, the skills course, the cadaver training, the quality of the didactic education seminars put out there is really just second to none. It's an amazing resource for our fellows. The other thing my fellows use a lot, actually I use a lot as a program director, is the selected readings. We found that to be very, very helpful to guide our journal clubs and various presentations that are given. Love that part of it. And then lastly, one of the things that I use just about every day, the guidelines on atypical lesions. I have that one up. I refer to my
updated ones are coming.
I actually show it to patients to help convince them that they don't need an excision for every single papilloma and ALH and lobular neoplasians. I show it to trainees, to other providers as well.
So I think it's great listening to all of you at how much educational stuff you get from the society. And I 100% agree. I do approach it from a different viewpoint. To me, life's about relationships, and I just have developed incredible friendships from the society. People I would never have met. And now, not only do I have friendships with them, we know each other's families, we travel together. It's just something that I never would have had as part of my life without this society. And Ellie, I feel like I should pay you later for saying all those incredible things about the fellowships and everything that we do for the fellows. But I hope what comes across, because I love the whole thing about fellows and fellows education, and I feel like it's one of my babies since I started the fellows track and then went into the pre-meeting fellows course with the society and the didactics. But the fun that we have putting it on, and call it banter, call it conversation, call it whatever you want. But I hope that comes across because it is a labor of love. We do it because we're doing it with our friends, and that makes everything more fun. But it's also giving back to the society and therefore giving back to the membership and the big community at large.
I've been a part of the ASBrS meetings for 15 years. So I've been part of it pre-COVID. And then interestingly, I was actually supposed to run the meeting in 2021. And then as you may recall, with COVID, we sort of pushed back the program director and sort of what was being done because we were going to do the in-person. And then I ended up being the program chair for 2022. When you're going to be running the meeting, you're going to be observing a lot during this meeting. And the plan was that I was going to be doing that in 2020. And then we were all virtual. And so like most of us, not being able to attend the meeting only reinforced how helpful and wonderful it is to connect. And I know that there were a group of people on the board that still came together when the meeting was virtual because that part was so important. We talk about breast surgery, but we keep the topics very interesting from year to year. Neoadjuvant therapy, benign breast disease, survivorship. We're going to touch on those topics pretty much every year, but you're going to get different people talking about it, different aspects about it. So it's hard to look at an agenda and not find something that you're going to find interesting. So Susie, are there any particular topics that you're looking forward to this year?
I like to go to a meeting and walk away smarter, not walk away with something I could have read in a book or read on a blog or something like that. And I think, Susan, with you also touching on the community, I feel like I'm going to walk away with, 1,000, maybe 100,000 new friends, maybe a couple tattoos, and a lot of money from gambling. So you all have built this up like unbelievably. But I think that is what makes a successful meeting is not feeling alone. Yes, you can take this chair next to me, and yes, you can go out to dinner, and that we have those interactions. I'm super excited. I sometimes do ditch like a half day, and I'm not going to. That's a big deal.
Susie, we definitely all got tattoos for our first meeting. So we'll show them to you after you get yours, but that is a rite of passage that all of us have gone through. So looking forward to that.
I do have a present for all of you, so I'll give that after I see your tattoo.
Before I got on the board, though, I was involved in like niche things, right? So ultrasound was something that was real important to me. And so we would be doing the ultrasound courses and things like that. And then fellowship training was important. And so I was involved in that. But once I got on the board, I realized how many things this society is involved in that I had absolutely no idea. We go to Washington twice a year to advocate on the society's behalf. And Susan was instrumental in this, whereas before the fellowship was predominantly run by the SSO, we've worked now to where we co-manage that. And that is a huge thing for new members and our new fellows. And we're setting curriculum and what the next breast surgeon is going to look like. We actually have a real input in that. And our associations with other societies, I was amazed that all of a sudden it's like the Wizard of Oz, the door opens. What I thought the society did was just a little bit of what the society is doing that I had no idea about.
I think that what you're describing is the society is a bigger thing than any of us individually. It makes us part of a bigger community, and life is about community. So I keep going back to relationships and community because that is what it's about. And Susie, what you said is completely true. You'll go to the meeting, and if you don't have anyone to go to dinner with, no big deal. There are symposiums every evening where they have dinner, and you can go and learn and hang out and meet people, and there's panels, and they're fun. My kids would be like, Mom, is that really fun? But they were at the meeting last year and they were like, oh, now I know what you mean. So a big thing for us at the meeting is the lobby bar, because you cannot get back to your room without passing through the lobby bar. And without a doubt, you stop because you see someone you meet and you catch up on life. I can tell you, I'm not standing there talking about, a patient and what would you do? I'm standing there catching up on someone's life, someone that I haven't seen in months or a year or something like that. But these are people that you would never know if it were not for the society. We get so much more for the society. It makes us smarter. I mean, listen, when you sit in a room with 3,000 brilliant people, you cannot help but leave smarter. We're all there for the common goal of learning how to do something better so that we're better physicians for our patients. I mean, how exciting is that? And in addition to that, we get to go to Old Vegas and gamble with Carla and Michael and whoever else wants to come with us. But my thing at the meeting is finding hidden bars or speakeasies. At the Cosmopolitan Hotel, there are 3. Bellagio has 1, and there are numerous others. And unfortunately for Michael and now Carla, I will be dragging them to all of these speakeasies, walking along looking for a door. I'm like, no, there's a skier on the door. That's not the door. And come on, Michael, they're pretty cool when you go.
They're super cool. You mentioned the lobby bar, and you know who's there a lot? It's our industry partners. These are people that we see a lot. A lot of them have been in the space for as long as we've been in the space. And it really is an interesting time to catch up with them, to hear what they're doing, and to make great contacts with them. I mean, partnering with industry has always been kind of a big deal with the society. And those relationships can be sometimes as valuable as some of your colleagues' relationships. So that's something that I found is really neat, is we don't shun our industry's partners in this, and that we're just sort of hanging out together and really having a big time. That's been a huge part of our society.
That's a really great point, Michael. I've learned so much from our industry partners in the exhibit halls at these meetings, things that I would not have known before, technologies that I didn't know existed, definitely have impacted my practice. You're right, it's a huge part of the meeting.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about the exhibit hall as well, because you can really get your hands on a lot of technology, which I think makes a difference. I was able to get my hands on some new technology this past week, a company I've been talking to. And to be honest, to be able to have this thing in my hand and be able to kind of see it on a screen made a big difference. And I think they're hopefully going to be at the meeting, but just having the opportunity to have so many breast surgeons give their input and to be able to see those things it's so much fun to sort of walk through. And obviously they entice us in those exhibit halls with great snacks and Diet Cokes for people who seem to be addicted to Diet Coke, water, coffee. So kind of keeps us going.
I'm going to put Ellie on the spot. I'm going to steal her answer, but sometimes we have recurring themes. And my favorite part of the meeting is Helen Pass every year does the best papers of the previous year. And if you've never heard it, it is a tour de force. She blows right through it, giving all the pertinent points. You can claim that as your answer, Ellie, but tell me, what are your favorite things that you enjoy when you're going to the meeting?
Yes, that talk is great, but I also really, really appreciate the how I do it talks.
Okay. It's interesting.
Those are amazing to me as a surgeon in my earlier career. I'm still figuring out what's the best way to do something. I'm still figuring out what other people are doing. It's always an expansion for me of what I thought is possible. I remember the guy who's doing fat grafting in Europe. Even if I feel good or bad about it, it's something I'd never been exposed to. And just to have kind of the international stage too, I love seeing that. I love hearing that. I also loved the lady who's a breast surgeon who's had breast cancer. Just these interesting stories. Those are my favorite part. I know it's going to be a meeting where I come out better. I come out stronger. I have new ideas. I am reinvigorated to keep creating the practice that I want.
Susie, you've never been tainted with what has been. So what do you want to hear? What are some topics that may or may not be included in this meeting that you think would be interesting going forward?
One thing I think would be very interesting is when things go wrong. And how are we dealing with that as a community? For instance, what happens when someone does have a breast wound that's difficult to heal? Or what happens when someone chose a different type of treatment that may not have been a wrong choice for that patient, but there may be sequela to that. So I think wrong was not really the correct word I wanted to use. But then how do we help with that? That would be something I would also be interested in.
Carla, you're the future of this society, is that now that you're coming into leadership. Outside of the meeting, what do you want to see this society do that can make us all better breast surgical oncologists going forward, that's not part of the meeting, but is part of just being a member of the society as a whole? I'm really putting you on the spot for that. What do you think?
I will say that the society is doing a lot. So I think giving opportunities for community outside the meeting has happened. There's a lot of forums and ways that we can engage with other people through that. Reimbursement is something we want to be paying attention to. And again, the society has done a lot to advocate on our behalf as we look at funding being cut for different breast procedures. Coding and billing is something that comes up a lot with my partners. And again, I know that we do talk about that at the meeting, but that, as you know, is very high yield. I love that we're doing this podcast. I didn't grow up with social media, but social media is a big part of how we connect with people in our daily lives, whether it's just personally or professionally. I actually kind of very much distinguish some of my profiles, but I think engagement in social media would probably be something I want to see the society sort of continue to see our foothold in that, because we have Instagram presence and Facebook, and obviously we have the Facebook page for this podcast, but I think continuing to figure out what that looks like and how we engage with our listeners and our members through that.
And that is actually something that we would be interested in hearing from our listeners. That Facebook chat is kind of a neat thing that we can communicate back and forth and get some really good ideas from you guys, because we don't know it, we don't know it. Sitcha, what are your thoughts?
It's also what the society gives us on a daily basis, the patient education materials and so much more. But I was wondering if we can comment more on how they can be more engaged in the society. How do I get on committees, and how do I help further the actions of the society? How can I be part of the future of the society as well? And then I was really hoping to hear more about your direction, Michael, in terms of where you see the society going this year and maybe over the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, we're going to buy Greenland as a society. I think these are great ideas moving forward. I think there's a lot that we're doing with oncoplastics. And is there a role for maybe fellowships? That's something that we've sort of kicked around, but can that happen? Can that not happen? I don't know. Susan was really instrumental in expanding the society by adding APPs. this is the American Society of Breast Surgeons, and I guess we're going to have to say and APPs, but there is a whole cadre of people that are involved in breast cancer that I think we could very likely provide a home to. I think 10% of our society membership now are advanced practice providers or APPs.
It is so critically important to look to the future. The past is the past. The present is whatever we're doing with it today. But it's the future that makes a difference. And what happened, I think about 3 years ago, there was a need. In my clinical practice, I have about 5 APPs just in my office, all with varying degrees of knowledge. And similar to the fellows, everyone who works in this field should have the baseline similar knowledge. I mean, you can vary from there, but it's all the same baseline. And that was the birth of the APP certification of, if you are working in this field, whether in a supportive role or an independent role, whatever the role, you need to have basic knowledge. I mean, it was record time within a year from idea to really having APPs sign up for the certification program. We rolled this out within a year, and our goal was to have 25 APPs sign up the first year. It's a real didactic program. It's 10 months of different modules with an exam with each module and then an exam at the end to get your certification. And we wanted about 25 to sign up. We thought we'd start conservative, and we had 250 APPs sign up without really advertising. It was just an unbelievable feat. And my goal was at the annual meeting of my presidency to have them certified. And we did it. We had 250 certified, and they all had to become members. And this year it was, did we capture everyone and we're not going to have anyone this year? And again, we have about 200. So it shows that there's a need. And I think that is one of the things about our society is there's a vision, and the leadership of the society is incredible. The staff of the society is incredible because people are visionary and they see the future. And that's what it's about. It's, hey, what's the need? Not maybe yesterday, but what's the need tomorrow? What's the need in a year? What's the need in 3 years? Let's fill it today. So we remain valuable. We remain resourceful. We continue to be of value to our members and to the community at large. I mean, I really think that's what makes us stand out. And we do that in a very ethical way with our industry partners. There is an ethical way to engage with industry, and I think that the society is very, very good about doing that.
Well, believe it or not, we're just about out of time. But before we close, let's go around and have each of you share one thing that you're going to take away from this episode. I'm going to start with Susie.
I am taking away that the vision of the ASBrS and not waiting for the future for it to happen, but jumping on that today as well as the community.
Ellie.
My takeaways are I need to know about these speakeasy bars that Susan speaks of. They sound amazing.
Awesome. Join us, please.
And my second question is, why isn't the meeting at Vegas every year? That's my... Could be so great.
But Ellie, there's speakeasies everywhere. Last year in Orlando, I dragged them to the speakeasies in Orlando. They're everywhere.
That's true.
Sitcha.
I definitely vote for Vegas every year. I'm going to go visit that mob museum this year. Thank you. And just honored to be part of this society.
Susan, takeaways.
My point in the society is a little bit different. I've been on the board for about 11 years now, and I will be rotating off in April. So it's a weird feeling, but so proud to be part of this and honored to be part of the society's vision. So I plan on just going to the meetings and hanging out and having fun in the future rather than being involved. But to our listeners, please get involved. It is so much fun to be involved. How do you get involved? There's a call for volunteers twice a year at least for different committees. Sign up. talk to people, figure out, come up with concepts and ideas of the future of what we can do, bring them to the leadership, get involved. There's 1,000 ways to get involved. Just do it because you'll get back more than you give. I assure you.
Carla, you're our future leadership.
First of all, my checking account asks that you not have the meeting in Vegas every year. But I think this is a good note to end on. Susan brought this up. I want to give a huge, huge shout out to the ASBrS staff. Those of us who have been a part of the society, who've worked on committees, who've run the meetings, been a part of the meetings, anything to do with the ASBrS, have interacted with the staff. They are wonderful people to work with. They are really the culture of what we talk about this society being, because they are there year in and year out. And so I just want to say thank you to all the ASBrS staff for supporting us, for making it what it is. And we really appreciate you.
To our listeners throughout the breast community, we're so excited you joined us on this journey. And we'll see you next time on the Next Breast Thing podcast.
We look forward to connecting with you on the next episode of The Next Breast Thing, a podcast by the American Society of Breast Surgeons for the breast community.
Join the conversation on our Facebook group by searching the Next Breast Thing podcast group on Facebook.
Finally, the content within the Next Breast Thing podcast represents the views, thoughts, and opinions of the co-host, and may not necessarily reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of the American Society of Breast Surgeons.
Until next time, this is Carla,
Ellie,
Michael,
Susie,
Sitcha.
And Susan. And always remember, if you're part of the breast community and can't seem to find the answers, this is the Next Breast Thing.